Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Life Stories. My name is Trent as usual, and we are back at it again with more stories from the dark depths of Reddit/entitledparents. So buckle in, let's get started. Our first story is titled, Entitled Northerner Throws a Tantrum Because My Sister Gave Him the Soda He Ordered. I made a post earlier, and someone told me to post more stories. Although the previous story is all about my grandmother, this one has little to do with my family, but still is one of my favorites to tell. For context, both my parents were born and raised in Iowa, but my siblings and I spent most of our childhoods in varying states of the US because my dad was in the Army. We moved to Georgia after his retirement from the military, and while I personally have moved back to Iowa for culinary school, my mom and all my siblings still live in Georgia. After I graduated from high school, I started working at a popular chicken restaurant in the South that is unfortunately not available up north. One of my biggest reasons I'm looking forward to visiting my family this summer, to be perfectly honest. My older sister also worked at that same location and helped me get the job, because it was my first job ever and I was inexperienced. I learned quickly enough, and it's still one of my favorite jobs to date. My sister, referred to as S2, was one of the best workers at the store, as well as the favorite of several of the managers. Even though not a single family member of ours lives in the town where the particular store is, she still goes there occasionally to visit her old co-workers. On to the story. S2 and I were both looking through the drive-thru that day, along with another employee, who we'll call CW. It was a busy time in the store, so CW was going back and forth between the drive-thru and the front registers. My sister and I were just fine on our own, though, so we didn't mind that he was flip-flopping. So this guy, the entitled dad, comes to the drive-thru with several children screaming in the back seat. He orders an entree for himself, and since it was Wednesday, he was able to get 2 free kids' meals with it. Since he was the only adult in the car, he had to pay full price for the other 2 kids' meals. While working out his order, he and my sister have a conversation that goes something like this. Can I get a Coke with my meal? Of course, what kind? Keep in mind, this is the South, and while us Northerners say Coke and mean Coca-Cola, many Southerners use the word Coke to describe any Coke product. And given that the soda machine this restaurant had was one of those Coke Freestyles ones where you can get any Coke product ever, this was a necessary clarification. What? Are you an idiot? A freaking Coke! I say to S2, he doesn't have an accent, he probably means Coca-Cola. The 4 oldest of us were mostly raised among the people with Midwestern accents, so most Southerners have an accent to us. You're right, S2 says. She tells ED his total, and he goes up to the window. Evidently, S2's clarification put him in a foul mood, and instead of acting like a civilized human being, he throws his credit card at S2 from his car window for her to process the transaction. S2 has her silent rage face on, but she's been working food service even longer than I have, and has therefore seen worse. So she says nothing. I write down his license plates, then check on ED's order and give it to him. Can you believe your stupid coworker? What kind of Coke? Honestly. Sir, that stupid coworker is my sister, so I would advise you stand down. I'm the only one allowed to call her stupid. S2 laughs at this because I have never ever called her stupid in our lives. She's much smarter than me, and we both know it. Well, maybe you should call her stupid for asking what kind of Coke. In case you haven't noticed, many Southerners call soda of any kind Coke, so of course she had to clarify. S2 gives ED his Coke, which he takes a sip of and promptly spits out. I wanted Diet Coke. You asked for Coke. That's Coke. You should have clarified Diet Coke when I asked. Shut up, you stupid bimbo. And he throws the Coke at her, soaking her uniform. As a side note, his only indication of S2 being a bimbo is that she's naturally gifted in the chest area, and she has natural red hair, which apparently means she's automatically a bimbo. I was seriously ready to throw hands because that's my sister, and he just threw a soda at her. I give him back his card and tell him to kindly piss off with my customer service smile, while CW goes to grab a manager. Give me my Diet Coke, you freaking kid! And compensate my kids' meals for your stupid sister's mistake. I simply shut the windows and waited for my awesome manager. AM walks into the room. What happened here? He threw the drink he ordered at me because he failed to mention he wanted diet when I asked. AM opens the window. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Not until I get my money back from your stupid employees and that tiny bimbo gets fired. Fired for what? She told me to piss off. OP, is this true? Of course not. OP can't even say the A word without giggling about how bad she is, S2 says. ED chimes in. It's freaking true! Look at your cameras! Fine, but I must ask you to leave the drive-thru. You're holding up the line. ED swears again and speeds into the parking lot, leaving his kids in the car and storming inside. Are you sure you didn't swear at him? Of course not, AM. You know me. ED comes inside, his face contorting with rage as he spots me cleaning up the mess he made. That little brat called me an idiot and told me to piss off. I highly doubt that, but since you kindly asked, which was sarcasm, we can check the cameras. AM checks the cameras and sees ED throwing things at S2, and sees my customer service smile as I told ED to piss off. I did not call him an idiot. I would have called him something much more creative. But since I was smiling and AM can't read lips to save his life, he takes mine and S2's side and asks ED to pay to have S2's uniform replaced. Hell no! She messed up my order! I can clearly see you throwing things at her. Of course, we could press charges if S2 wishes. S2 has been cleaning herself up in the bathroom, so I take a guess as to what she'd want. S2 isn't very confrontational, I say. So I think she'll settle for you paying the damages. Nobody asked you, kid! AM, I changed my mind. I think after seeing ED's attitude toward her little sister, S2 would love to press charges. My brother is a lawyer. I'll have your entire restaurant closed down. AM whispers to me, OP, did you get ED's plates? I wrote them down as soon as he started getting nasty. What are you idiots whispering about? I'll get both of you fired. Sir, I'm going to ask you to leave or I will call the police. Fine, your restaurant is freaking nasty anyway. ED storms out, screaming profanities all the way. I gave AM the napkin I wrote the license plates down on, and AM stays in the office to call the cops. S2 did not want to press charges like I predicted, but we were both allowed to go home early. I stayed to help CW in the drive-thru until the rush died down, and left with S2 after. Since her pants were ruined, I bought her a new pair at Walmart before we went home. This took place shortly before S2 went back to college, and I started college after the summer, so I still don't know if ED ever got justice. Usually, when telling this story in real life, I embellish the ending with a court battle in which ED gets totally owned. But unfortunately, that didn't actually happen. A person can dream, though. I'd like to see him get owned in court. I don't know about you guys. Moving on from that, we got time for just another small one, so I can squeeze another one in here for you guys. Our last story of the day is titled, Entitled Mommy. Don't buy chocolates, it's upsetting my kid. This happened about an hour ago. I was grocery shopping and decided to pick up a few bars of chocolates. That's when I heard the ear-piercing scream of what can only be an entitled kid. He looked like he was somewhere between 5 and 6 years of age. He began to violently pull on his mother's arm, pointing at my chocolate bars and yelling at her to buy him some. EM, entitled mom, said, "Did you have to pick that up in front of him?" I turned to her. What? Can't you see it's upsetting my child? Well, that's a you problem. EM frowned, and in between trying to get her demon spawn to act like a human being, said, "You need to put them back. My son only started demanding chocolates when he saw you take them. Just put them back now. You can get some later. You shouldn't make kids jealous." I just smiled at her and approached the chocolate shelves, but instead of putting them back, I actually took a few more. It earned me a death glare from EM, and earned EM another round of tantrums from EK. Petty? Yes. Satisfying? Hell yes. This is a bit of a strange one, because I'm sitting here thinking about it, and it's like, was the parent the one who was entitled? Was she in the wrong? I don't like screaming kids. I'm sure OP doesn't like screaming kids either, that much is clear. Entitled kids. That's it. Who's gonna go start Reddit/entitled kids so I can read stories off of that? Because this story would fit something like that perfectly. And with that tiny little story out of the way, we're all out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for tuning in. My name is Trent. This has been Life Stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way, and I hope to see you guys soon.